Ladies and gentlemen, we have been working all day, and now it's after work. I'm Joe, and we got to talk about this Nintendo NX officially named Nintendo Switch. And I see how they switched things around with that title change. And oh my god! All right, so I saw it this morning. I didn't get to see the live stream itself, but I saw the trailer for the end. I'm gonna have to. It's like when the year changes, and you have to get used to writing down 2016 instead of 2015. That's what this is right now. Nintendo Switch. There's so many notes that I wrote down. I have the trailer up with me. I'm not gonna put it in the video here because I don't want to get like a copyright claim or anything on this video, but I will leave the link down below if you haven't seen it yet. Guys, this is crazy. There's not even that much information out just from this one trailer, but we're gonna pick it apart a little. It's a 3-minute trailer. I've got my Wii U gamepad here. I've got my 3DS games and DS games right here. It'll all come together throughout this video, so sit back. I'm just gonna have this on replay. I wanna go through some of the notes that I wrote down from this trailer that I noticed, some questions that I have. Overall, this has got me really excited for it. The hype train is real now, guys. All right, maybe I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but still, I'm personally excited for this. March cannot come sooner. Christmas is late this year, basically, is what it comes down to, but that's okay. All right, so first thing I noticed, you got the guy sitting down. He's got the home console with the charging dock there. The controller itself is modular. Now I can't remember the name of the controller. They gave it a name. Sorry, the Joy-Con controllers. Nintendo. Come on. Anyway, so the Joy-Con controllers seem to be modular. When he's sitting down, he's got it connected to the what's the charging station. So I'm assuming that both controllers are battery, probably lithium ion operated or whatever, and you can connect it there to use it as a controllers. You can also snap it off. You see that later on in the trailer where the guy is just sitting and he's playing it two controllers, or you can use them as multiplayer. So you give one person the controller with the D-pad and the buttons, and you give the other person the other controller with the joystick and the ABXY. Kind of curious as to how that's gonna all work out. I guess you could kind of say it's like the Wiimote a little bit, where you turn it sideways and it's the D-pad and the 1-2 sort of deal, and then the triggers on the back and the buttons. So it probably will only work with certain games, I'd imagine, depending on, you know, what you're playing, or if it's gonna use like a gyroscope or something. That still doesn't seem to be confirmed yet, because even when people were playing Splatoon, everyone had the displays on their stands playing with the controllers, so that's a little interesting to me. But I keep moving ahead. Sorry, we'll take it back. He puts the controllers onto display that's docked in the charging station, which looks like that's going to be the home base for where you want to connect it to the TV. That's my impression. I don't think there's going to be an actual HDMI port that you connect to the display. I think it's going to be, you put the display on that dock, and it looked like there was 2 ports to the side. I couldn't tell whether or not they were HDMI. Actually, I'm looking at a photo right now. It looks like that's the actual, that might be USB ports or an HDMI port, at least one of them. Sort of, it's really hard to tell what it is right now, but again, they'll probably give us more information later. And then, yeah, so he puts the Joy-Con controllers onto the display, he puts it out, pops it out, walks his dog, and again, sits down playing the game. Dude, you're supposed to be walking your dog. Come on, dude. Really? Right now? Also, the other thing that I noticed about the display itself is the fact that it's handheld. There's no clamshell like 3DS. So, yes, it's handheld, but you got no protection on the screen, so there will be screens cracking galore. You got to be real careful with that right off the bat. I'm sure they'll come out with cases and films and all that stuff. Also, next thing I noticed, cartridge based. The guy goes to the airport, pops in cartridge. Now, from what I've read so far, and I can't really tell from the video itself, apparently people are saying that the cartridges are a little longer and bigger than the 3DS and the 2DS cartridges. So it's kind of fuzzy right now as to whether or not it'll actually be something that's backwards compatible with the 3DS and the DS cartridges, which the DS cartridge itself doesn't have this little flap thing that the 3DS cartridge has. So it's actually slightly wider than the DS cartridge. Jeez, there's too many DSs. But yes, you see what I'm saying there. That's 3DS cartridge, my Link Between Worlds, and this is my Pokemon Platinum cartridge for the DS. There's the difference right there for you. Up next, he's in the airplane, and he's got the standout with just a display. So again, he takes off the controllers, and that's where I believe he shows that you can use them sort of like two Wii sticks, sort of like two wands. Not showing that there's motion control, just showing that, hey, you can take this apart and just play it as is. You don't need the charging base for the controller. At least I think that's what that is. You saw like two little green LED lights on both sides when it was connected at the beginning of the video, where he's playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in his home earlier in the video. So I think that I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the charging base for it. And sorry, I had to go back and play the video real quick just so I can see what game he was playing on the plane. It was Skyrim, in fact, and I think it goes back to someone's home as well, where they're playing Skyrim, and he has the Joy-Cons separated, which is interesting. So Bethesda hasn't officially announced anything other than that they're happy to partner with Nintendo. So I don't know if Nintendo went ahead and said, hey, this is one of the titles that you can look forward to on Switch. So that oh my god, that's gonna be crazy if that's the case. So that means this little thing's got some power to it. It's got a little kick to it to be handling something like that. And again, it's kind of hard to tell because, you know, it's a video, so clearly there's some editing involved as to whether or not that footage might have just been something that was gameplay footage for another version of Skyrim, or if that was actual NX footage. It's kind of hard to say with any of this stuff right now. Probably not. It's probably something that they took from when they're building the game, and it's not exactly going to look exactly it's not going to look exactly like that when you actually get the NX, maybe. Also, just to go back, how slim is that NX? And how slim is the Switch? Sorry, I said NX before too. How thin is that thing? It's like it seems like it's almost iPhone thin, but I don't want to say it's iPhone thin. Maybe a little thicker, maybe in between that and a PS Vita. Just to give you a comparison, Vita, iPhone, somewhere in between there, probably. Maybe, I don't. Again, it's all too hard to tell without actually having some measurements, some specs on the damn thing. So Skyrim wasn't the only game that we saw in there. We got to see Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, what might be a new 3D Mario game. Don't know what that's about, and I'm totally like moving off the camera now. That's how crazy it is right now. We saw a Mario Kart on there, which, interestingly enough, I don't think that Boo is in Mario Kart 8. So either it's a new Mario Kart, or it might be a port of Mario Kart and they're going to announce further DLC. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be Mario Kart 8, a port of it for Switch, and it'll probably be more DLC, and maybe people on Wii U who already have the game might get that additional DLC. That's just my 2 cents. Don't know for sure. Splatoon was also another game. That'll probably be a port unless they actually go ahead and make a sequel for it. Or maybe they call it Splatoon Switch or something. Not so much giving proper sequels to games, not naming them Part 2 or Mario Kart 9 or anything like that. So I think they'll probably I think that's probably where we'll see some of those catchy little titles Nintendo likes to make for certain games. And randomly, they also threw in sports games, so we'll see 2K, definitely another developer that's going to be partnered with Nintendo as well with the NX. Geez, see, again, it's like changing dates, the new year. So yeah, 2K17 apparently going to be on NX, which March Madness, yeah, so that I get, yeah, all right. I see what you did there, Nintendo. All right, I see your game. Okay. Smart. So yeah, as I mentioned before, 4 different ways to get the controller. I think I'm repeating myself there. That's fine. All right, so then the very last thing was new Pro controller. Seems like that's the case because when there was at the very end, the last segment that they show, there's 2 teams, 4 people on each team, and before they go out to the stage for what seems like they're going to be competing against each other in Splatoon, they're playing it in the back, all 4 displays on stands, and they have controllers that don't look like the same controller you saw at the beginning of the trailer, the first look at Nintendo Switch, and it looks pretty cool. What I like the most, though, I gotta say, simple things make me happy, is the damn Pro controller has the joystick up on the top on the left hand side and joystick underneath the buttons on the right hand side. Thank you, Nintendo, for finally catching up. 2016. There's certain things that I'm okay with you being different. Controllers, don't screw that up. Please, thank you. Welcome to Next Generation, people. That's it for the breakdown of this trailer. If there's anything that I missed that you think you guys caught or saw from other websites, again, I wasn't really looking at other websites. I wanted to do this without really seeing anything else other than my own point of view for the sake of this reaction trailer. And now I've got some questions for you guys. I don't think have been answered yet. Maybe they'll be answered. Nintendo, if you're watching this, hopefully you'll give us some answers over the next couple of months. And here we go. Number 1, backwards compatibility. We've seen in the past Nintendo, whenever they come out with a new console, it's been backwards compatible to an extent, but then certain older generation games, for instance, Super NES, Nintendo, we see them being available on the eShop, but only on certain specific consoles. And then when they do eventually come out on the handheld, for instance, when Wii U had Super Nintendo games finally starting to come out, NES games and 64 games, they were available for Wii U, but then you had to re-buy them on the 3DS, 2DS. When the Switch comes out, will I have to repurchase my games? Or will I be able to carry them over somehow digitally? Since most of the games I do have are digital, so I'm happy with that there, even if I don't get to use my 3DS cartridges, which are few and far between. So that's number 1. Number 2, how long before I scratch that screen? How long before I potentially crack that screen? It's the first time that, yes, it is a home console, but you got to remember, it's also handheld. Most of Nintendo's handhelds, well, not most, sorry, but starting from Game Boy Advance SP and on, we've seen clamshells. Protects the screen. I am a fan of the clamshell. I've got to say, having a Vita for a while, I eventually did get scratches on it. It just happens. And yes, you could buy the films and all that stuff. That's my one concern, is just, is there going to be something that will protect it eventually? And if there is, even if it's like a clip-on to cover the screen, please sell it. Now, forgive me if I'm repeating myself here, but it seems like the HDMI is on the dock. Can someone confirm that? Maybe? I don't know. I'm going to look back at the video a few times. I only watched it a handful of times before I started taking down notes. It does seem like the display has to be in the dock in order for you to play the game on TV. And last question is the display touchscreen? I noticed in the first look, none of those segments showed anyone touching the screen. So they may be going away with that, which might answer our question as to whether or not we'll be able to play 3DS games and DS games on there, or for that matter, specific games. Maybe it'll be a gamepad situation where maybe they'll have certain 3DS and DS games available on the eShop where you would play the game on dual screen, but again, like the Wii U, you have the main screen on the TV, and then on your Switch screen, you end up having the bottom screen, but not something to where you have, not games where you have to actually touch the screen. That's yet to be confirmed, guys. And let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below about the Nintendo Switch announcement, first look video trailer thingamabobber of 2016. Love to hear what you guys think. And that's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed me babbling on like this, having a little rambling, talking about some of the bigger events in the gaming industry, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more of this, hit that subscribe button. And guys, I'll see you next time where maybe I'll be playing a video game. Take care. Love y'all.